Everybody trying to live a meaningful life, but have you ever wondered if you wasted your time? They ain't know the struggle, they don't know what it's like. Yeah, I'm pretty exhausted, yeah, I put in the time. It's like work, hustle, grind it till you die, but it's like race, not muscle, and everything I write. I wrote this one for my independence. Go ahead, get your happy ending. I got one shot, this ain't a gimmick. You got one life, watch how you live it. You got one take, only one take. You got one life, why would you waste it? This ain't a gimmick. You got one life, watch how you live it. You got one take, only one take. You got one life, why would you waste it?
Take in one take, moment to notice it's historical. They don't know the process, the prophet, or it's an oracle. No place to lay my head cause the studio stay portable. What good's to gain the world but lose your soul? That ain't rhetorical. I don't give answers to questions that aren't asked. I do take chances, the lessons they aren't fast. Bought my wife a purse but it's never about the bag. We go into the moon, never put haters on blast. Off below my means and stay affordable. Don't need Balenciagas, the saga is what's promotable. Knit together in my mother's womb by the designer of designers. Future so bright that I can't see behind us.
It's like work, hustle, grind until you die, but it's like race, not muscle, and everything I write. I wrote this one for my independence. Go ahead, get your happy ending. I got one shot, this ain't a gimmick. You got one life, watch how you live it. You got one take, only one take. You got one life, why would you waste it? This ain't a gimmick. You got one life, watch how you live it. You got one take, only one take. You got one life, why would you waste it?
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan. Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
This is like a lobby elevator music. It's the vibes when you're sitting in the lobby of the SLS hotel having some drinks on a leather couch with the lights dimly lit. You got a suit on, no tie, first couple of buttons on your shirt open, some slippers on, loafers, no socks. I mean, I'm never gonna revisit the album again. But if it comes on when I'm in the lobby of a luxury hotel, I'm not mad at it.
Now, makes you like want to touch your nipples and like bob your head fast.
I didn't say all that.
Billboard already ranked these songs on the album.
How? It just came out.
I guess they've been working on it all night. You know, that's their job. So they probably been up all night listening to it and coming up with this. But what they have.
Drake's new elevator music album could be a blueprint, I think, for YouTubers that more of us need to listen to. If you guys didn't get the memo, Drake put out an album. The album is... It's like a dance album. He's not really rapping on it. People had certain expectations of it. He puts out something different. And there's been mixed reviews. A lot of them are from folks that don't like the record. They don't like the record. I just opened with the Charlamagne quote, calling it elevator music. I listened to the album. I'm not a Drake fan, but I listened to the album. Listened to like 4 or 5 songs of the album. I'm not a fan of Drake's content. I think the content is very problematic in his just kind of man-child phase that he's been in. But him making music this frequently, I think there's always been a method to the madness, believe it or not. And I'm going to get into how that applies to us Christian creators, to creators on this YouTube platform, and what we can glean from this lesson. So Drake, hit or miss with some of his music. However, if you compare him to Kendrick's last release, if you compare him to, I don't know, a Jack Harlow release, J. Cole's release, a Jay-Z release, a Kanye release, he usually outperforms a lot of these artists off of very little rollouts and promotional, even with the Certified Lover Boy album with a terrible artwork. And so what's the takeaway here? What's the lesson here that I think could be easily implemented? There's two specific lessons. The first lesson is the old Gary Vee model. Get your quality to a certain standard and then lean into the quantity of said standard because you are consistently feeding your audience. See, this album is not for Charlamagne. This album is not for me. This album is probably not for rap fans. It's not. It's for Drake and it's for people who are going to rock with him no matter what. So that's one side. Is, hey man, he's consistent at delivering the type of music that he's perfected over multiple, a decade and a half in the music industry. And so one, I think it's the age-old side of consistency is super duper important and it's often underlooked. But as a creator, I lean into mastering YouTube Live. Why? Because if you're mastering YouTube Live, well, then you should be able to do what you do, because what you do and what you're an expert on is beneficial to create content in a format where you're not having to overthink. And when you listen to this album, I mean, he's not overthinking. He's literally not overthinking. It sounds like the first 4 songs are in the same key, meaning that there's not a lot of variation, just even sonically, tempo, the whatever keys he's singing in. He is doing what he wants to do, and it's consistent, it's cohesive, and it's on this project. Now, the second part, and this is the part where I think people are also missing it, and we can lean into as creators. The second part is there is a specific change in sound from album to album, especially this record. That there's a specific shift that happens when this record comes out, when other records comes out, that yes, there's rapping Drake, but this record is different. This is singing Drake. Now, why is that important? Well, because there's 2 things. One, it keeps his core base, not me, not Charlamagne, but it keeps his core base that care. It keeps them on their toes. It's unexpected. It's disruptive. It's not what people think it is. So there is a degree of when you're creating something, everything can't always be predictable and it can't always be copy and paste and it can't always be the thing that people are expecting. That it's good to completely throw a monkey wrench in the equation and do something totally unexpected, because that is something that will keep you relevant and keep yourself going. And so specifically for me, the channel is about to crack 200,000 subscribers, my main channel. So what do? We start a second channel. Okay, that's something unexpected. What else are we doing? We're switching up the content. I do a lot of live stuff, but we also started doing some pre-edited content. What else are we doing? Well, I'm also experimenting with more long-form content. I'm also in the process of building a podcast. We're keeping things fresh and unexpected so that our core is on their toes, and then we're experimenting and trying out and branching out and doing different things that aren't just mundane. And I think sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes as creators, we can get into a rut and we don't really know what's happening and why it's happening. We're just stuck with, man, this is not good. I don't know why the needle is not moving. See, the thing about the 10,000 hour rules, right? If you guys have heard of this, Mastery, Outlier, those sorts of books, they talk about the 10,000 hour rule. The 10,000 hour rule goes, do something for 10,000 hours, you'll become an expert at it. The caveat with that is you have to be deliberate. Okay, if you sit down in front of a piano for 10,000 hours and just start hitting random keys, that's not going to do anything for your development. If you sit down with a teacher, with a workbook, with something, you're deliberate and intentional, it's going to move the needle for you and you will get better every time you go to bat. And I think YouTube can be the same way. If you're deliberate, if you're intentional, if you're consistent, but you're looking back at your analytics and the metric, you will over time get better in the process. And so I think Drake, what he's doing here, even though I'm not a big fan of the album, I think is genius because he's laying out a system that works for him. He's creating the music that he wants to create. It's unexpected. And this is the first time that I've seen him respond to something which I was totally not expecting him to respond. And his response in an Instagram video, he said, it's all good if you don't get it. He says to the camera, one of his new tracks, calling my name, blares in the background. He says, that's what we do. We wait for you to catch up. We in here, though we caught up already, on to the next. My goodness. So Drake's hearing some of the negative feedback, and he's like, look, we're on to the next thing. We're doing what we want to do. You can ride with us if you want to, but end of the day, I'm making what I want to make. And we need more people on these platforms making what we want to make. Some of you guys are making what you think is proven, and that may, one, not be your expertise, and two, it may not be what you actually want to make. Make what you want to make and make it good. Be deliberate, test out different formats, try different things, be consistent, and over time the needle will move. I think Drake, in my opinion, this is why, if we're just going to look at numbers, if we're going to look at relevancy, there was a question once upon a time, Drake, Cole, Kendrick. I think, even though I don't like Drake's music like that, but I think you can't deny that Drake's blew past Kendrick and Cole. Why? Because he's been consistent, because he switched things up, because he's been deliberate, because he makes what he wants to make, because he's not at the mercy of his audience and the expectations of people. And I think this is a great long-term career trajectory that he's going to be around. He just signed another $400-500 million deal with Universal. This man's not going anywhere. He's going to keep releasing what he wants. He's going to keep his core on their toes. And he's happy about what he's putting out, and he's just going to keep doing it. And again, consistent quality over time, staying in your lane, trying different things over time is going to be what yields results in any avenue. Music, YouTube, Instagram, in any avenue, fitness, and anything you do. If you're consistent in its quality and you're disruptive in your own patterns, it's going to yield results. And so I think this album, I'm not a fan of it, but I think it actually lays out a great blueprint for a lot of us who are looking to expand what we're doing on this platform and other platforms. And if you're struggling with this, I highly recommend you take our free Master Your Niche course, okay? The link is in the description. And that is like a free thing I do where I work you through trying to discover what your own niche is. There's a homework assignment, so much more. Check that out, all right?
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
On this video, we are going to discuss the #1 metric in what YouTube is looking at with regards to if a video takes off. There's a lot of metrics in the YouTube stratosphere. There's a lot of things people need to be paying attention to. Something we've been intentional about is retention, making sure that our videos got a punchy opening, 30 to 60 seconds, but then also there's retargeting things that people keep watching till the end of the video. Mr. Beast said something like, hey, 70% retention, 70% retention at the end of your video, which is nuts, by the way. He's saying that 70% of people should be watching at the end of your video, and that's a metric that he personally goes after, right? That's a metric. Another metric that YouTube looks at is watch time, right? Completion. What's the average percentage that people that complete the video? What's the average watch time of a video? I got together with some different creators and we talked about all of our different analytics and which videos were performing and which videos weren't performing, so on and so forth. And so we looked at all of these different things, but I think there's one that if I'm just starting out and I want to be focused on one, this is the one that everybody should be tapped in with. And then I'm going to give you guys the second one that you can kind of package it with that we've seen the needle move based on the second one. Okay, so the #1 metric, we're going to get right to it. The #1 metric, in my opinion, is your packaging of your videos. All right, I'm about to play a clip from Ben. Leave it. Super dope channel. I just discovered his channel, and he gives some really practical game. I'm gonna play a clip of this. Let me give you guys the second metric we've been looking at, and then ultimately where YouTube is going with their overall goal for creators on the platform, and I think what they're going to be expecting more. So check this clip out real quick, and then we'll unpack it some more. Listen to what he says here. This is really good.
Getting this right, no one will even see your content, making it all pointless, no matter how good it is. Like I mentioned earlier, when someone commits to watching your video,
let me pull this
trading
back.
their time and attention.
Listen.
Something is true when someone's watching your video and you're telling a story. If they click off and stop watching, it probably wasn't a captivating story, and you can probably improve. Ditch your
Okay, so here we go. We're gonna jump into the meat of what he's saying here.
and you'll find the views. Step 3 is the most important one because it really brings everything together. Without getting this right, no one will even see your content, making it all pointless, no matter how good it is. Like I mentioned earlier, when someone commits to watching your video, they are trading their time and attention, something super valuable. But how they make that decision in the first place all comes down to how they respond to a fancy thing called content packaging. And this is something you need to understand and get good at to grow an audience. Content packaging is what a potential viewer is exposed to before making the commitment to consume that piece of content. And this will be different on every platform. For example, on TikTok, the content packaging is just the first few seconds of the video because the algorithm completely dictates what shows up on your feed. Over on Instagram, it's the initial image if you're posting a photo, or hook of a video if you're posting a video, and typically the first line of your caption as well. And here on YouTube, content packaging is the title of the video, the thumbnail for the video, and the hook of the video, which is the first bit of that video. Naturally,
So he breaks it down here on YouTube, title, thumbnail, hook. Okay, so title, thumbnail, hook. Title, thumbnail, hook. Now the hook, I'm gonna unpack that. That's another metric, that the second part that we're gonna talk about. But the title of a video and the thumbnail of the video, it is called your click-through rate, meaning when someone's sliding through YouTube, when they see your thumbnail and when they see your title, how many of them click on it? Okay, how many of them click on it? And depending on how much YouTube pushes out your content, that's going to be the metric. So if I'm initially dropping a video, we're hoping to get, I don't know, 12-15% click-through rate, meaning that out of all of our subscribers or all the people that got their notifications on, if 15% click on that video, then that's going to be good. And then as the video keeps performing, YouTube may push it out. More people, less people. Sometimes YouTube will take an old video and just start pushing it out. It's really random on the back end, but the front end is your click-through rate. Your thumbnail, which I blew and didn't do thumbnails for a very long time until I went to Grow with Video Live, sat down with vidIQ, they pressed me about doing thumbnails. Now thumbnails is literally the most important thing for us. Thumbnails and titles of videos is by far the thing we really think through. And so your title, thumbnail, and then let me play some more of this and I'll get into kind of more of what your hook is.
Right here on YouTube, it is the hardest. And that's why so many people complain that it's impossible to grow on YouTube, which is just straight up untrue. People are just lazy and it is hard to get it right. Which brings us to step 3 in the framework. Your content packaging is shit and it just can't be. Getting your content packaging right for the platform you're trying to grow on is literally a must. And let me give you a metaphor to drive this home. And that was actually a pretty funny pun that you'll get in about 20 seconds. So stick around. All right, let's say you have the best car in the world. Let's say it's a Lambo. Never mind, let's say it's a Tesla because we love the environment and I love Teslas. This car is your content. It has all the best features and potential performance in the entire world. This thing is an absolute beast. But even the best car in the world needs energy to move. And without it, regardless of how nice the car is, it's basically useless. The energy for your Tesla or gas for your Lambo is the content packaging. It is what makes the car go or not. People all stress about watch time and engagement and other metrics, which is the car, but until you get someone to commit, no one's watching. You need energy to make the car go. Get it now? Drive it home because I was talking about a car? Punny. Very punny. So through that example, you now understand why this stuff is so critical to get right. So how do you actually get better at this? 1, study what works. The answers are all out there in front of you.
So I'm gonna link his video in the description of this. The number 1 metrics, it's really simple, man. Thumbnail, title. That's it. Figure it out. Make compelling thumbnails, make compelling titles, and think about what other people are caring about because they're giving you their most precious commodity, which is their time. So if they click into your video, you have to give them value, and that is first predicated on a quality thumbnail and a quality title. Your click-through rate is the most important metric that I think YouTube is looking at. The second one, which a lot of people fumble, is that initial hook. He talked about it. I'm talking about 30 seconds, right? If you title a video something and the video isn't talking about what if the video's not opening with the title, people are gonna think it's click-through. Or here's another example. If somebody clicks into your video and you're like, hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Make sure that you do A, B, and C, and make sure you sign up for our Patreon community and blah, like, what? Like, get to the point, dude. Get to the point, jump right into the conversation and give me that hit of dopamine that I actually clicked into a video that's gonna talk about what it's claiming it's talking about. That hook is crucial in terms of how to get people to stay for the first 30 seconds. So I think primarily number 1 is click-through rate, thumbnail. Number 2 is your hook, and can you keep them for 30 to 60 seconds? We've been shooting for trying to get people to stay a minute in our videos through the first, at a 70% rate. So meaning that 70% of the people that click into the video, we want to keep them there for at least a minute. Now again, Mr. Beast is like 70% completion rate. Okay, we've gotten up there, 50%, 45%, but what we've noticed is even if people watch all the way through on the analytics, it actually hasn't for us moved the needle in terms of how a video performs. Meaning the things that make a video perform good for us isn't a strong completion rate on the retention side. It's a good click-through rate, a good title, something people care about, getting to the point, getting an interesting intro, first minute, lock them in, and the video can perform well even with a bad retention rate from our metric. I think what Mr. Beast says about the 70% completion rate is good, except when you have the content that is super wide and mainstream. If your content's not super wide and mainstream, the completion of a video is probably not going to be as relevant. If Mike Winger's doing a video on an hour-long Bible study on Ecclesiastes and 40% finish it. Like, that doesn't change. But YouTube likes the watch time, YouTube likes the click-through rate, YouTube likes the title. Boom, there it is. And I think ultimately where this is gonna go and what YouTube's gonna be looking at is user satisfaction. How are people satisfied? They've specifically been rolling out little surveys for people to check out when they're watching YouTube videos. Some of you guys have been seeing this. If you're seeing this for this channel, please, give it a 5 out of 5 and that whole bit. So there's an actual survey YouTube's been doing to people and after they watch a video. And then I also think watching the pattern of someone after they watch a video. Do they click into another video? Do they stay on YouTube? Or do you drop a video that's really polarizing and nasty and combative, and then they completely get off the app because they feel exhausted watching your video and they just feel gross and right? So user experience, I think, is going to be the metric that ultimately YouTube is going to be kind of gauging in terms of what they want to push. So those are the top 3 metrics. The number one, packaging. Guys, spend much more time on your thumbnails and on your titles, and spend less time trying to do over-the-top crazy viral editing, which is why I lean into, hey, Master YouTube Live. That's the name of the channel. And if you want to figure out what your niche is, check out our Find Your Niche training, Discover Your Niche training. The link is in the description. You go to mastermyniche.com, and there's a workshop, a training I do with you, walk you through to help you discover what is your niche training, what is your niche, and what are you best poised to speak at. And then you just kind of got to jump in and start experimenting. I recommend a live platform, Master YouTube Live. Get you that time and attention, get you them reps, and get you creating and publishing. Because if you're just over here doing, edited videos, but you can only drop 1 a month, it's like, fam, that's not gonna move the needle. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, all right?
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
All right, guys, you guys are in for a treat. So if you're here live, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna do a couple questions, but what's gonna happen is this stream is going to redirect into an after party masterclass. We have a master YouTubelive.com. That's our actual paid course. But what I'm gonna be doing is, those of you guys that are here, there's only about 13 of you, this stream is gonna redirect, and we're actually gonna go into a training that's gonna be live for you that stick around, and then is gonna be gone from the YouTube and exclusively available for our class, because we're updating our class constantly and we wanna keep updating modules. So I'm actually going to jump into how we make our thumbnails right after this stream. Like, stream's gonna be done, we're gonna redirect, and you guys get to see it for free. And then then we're gonna be adding the modules to the course. Hopefully that's making sense. I think it's a great way for me to live out this Master YouTube Live format in real time, while at the same time, all you guys that are new, and if you're seeing a replay of this, because this is getting trimmed out and processing, well, then you know what you need to do. You need to subscribe, because every time I make videos on this channel, it's gonna end with a Q&A, and then it's gonna end with a redirect into a private stream, so that you could see some of the process and what we do. So I'm gonna be literally, that video I just made, the number one metric, I'm gonna walk through the process of how I'm gonna make a thumbnail in real time in the after stream, okay? But right now, there's 14 of you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you smash that like button, all that good stuff. And the one day I'm early for the stream, let's go, man. Let's go. Let me know what questions you guys have about anything I just set up. And also, we're gonna be doing channel reviews on this channel. So if you want your channel reviewed, that's over on Patreon. It's a $30 tier. Call in, talk to me face to face, all that good stuff. But if you guys got any questions about the 2 things I just talked about, the Drake album, making content that's consistent, quality, at the same time disruptive, and more aligned to what you want to do, right? And or about this click-through thumbnail. If you guys got questions about that, drop that in the chat right now. I'm gonna do a couple questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna head over to the redirection stream, and I'm gonna walk you guys through how I make a thumbnail. And I'm gonna make a thumbnail for this video here momentarily. So if you guys got questions, drop them in right now. And again, we're gonna redirect and do a private stream for the however many of you guys here, and chop it up and give you guys like our behind the scenes training that'll only be available in our modules for our Master YouTube Live. So let me know if you guys got questions right now. And if you do, if not, it's totally cool, by the way. We don't need to do questions, because I'm really excited to do this thumbnail training for you guys. And you can also let me know where you're watching this from, by the way. That's always nice. I know we have 14 people in here. And again, I'm in the trenches with you guys, man. I grew one channel, and I'm doing this, one, because I want to give back, and two, because I believe that this format works, and I believe that almost anyone who's an expert in an area can make music, can make YouTube videos and lean into the live format. I feel like Drake's album is house music. Yeah, house music. The production is interesting. You know, the thing I found it, and I am not a music theory expert, but I do feel like those first 4 songs were in the same key. It'd be interesting to see if there was any key changes, because I think Drake sings really well in like 1 or 2 keys, and because his range is limited. And so, yeah, so I think that that's my perspective on that. I have a team to do my thumbnails. Where can I point them to get better with YouTube thumbnails? I'm in the UK. Well, you could get them to, well, hopefully you can watch this and learn what I'm about to show you in the after party stream. I honestly think thumbnails is a lot of times just looking at things that you like and your own behavior. See, a lot of folks hop on YouTube and they're not really consumers of a said product, and they want to be creators on a platform. Me and Zach watch a lot of YouTube. Zach's my full-time employee, team member, COO, and we watch a lot of YouTube. And I always get texts like, yo, you're like in every comment section. And it's like, if I watch stuff, I usually will go leave a comment on it, and I pay attention to different types of thumbnails. And there's definitely a science to them. Like, there's definitely a science to them. So I think, one, on YouTube, pay attention to your own behavior. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I would say. Greg asked me, what is my sleeping schedule like? Houston, thank you, Greg. My sleeping schedule has adjusted. I used to wake up like 5:30 and go to the gym at 6. I just found that wasn't sustainable for me. I didn't feel great, didn't feel refreshed. So currently my sleeping schedule is I'm usually in bed around 9:30, 9:30, 10, and then I get up around 6:45, 6:50 to take my mother-in-law to work, and she goes to work at 7:30. So usually drop her off at like 7:20, and then I get to the gym by like 7:35, 7:40, and so that's the schedule. So I get a solid, I'm in bed for probably like 9 hours, but I get a solid 7.5 to 8 hours. And I got like a little Whoop sleep tracker, which is actually really helpful. So yeah, that's my sleeping schedule. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you. And so, yeah, let me know if you guys got any other questions before we jump into this thumbnail training. Okay, thumbnail training. I'm very excited to be doing it with you guys, because I think it's going to be heat. Personally, there's 16 of you guys watching. Let me know where you're watching this from, and if you guys have another question, drop it in now before we wrap it up. I'm gonna put this in the chat. I think there's a slight delay. By the way, I've also noticed that newer channels definitely don't get the same juice from YouTube. Drop your questions. Like the delay is longer on my channel. The time window I have to edit the YouTube editor is longer. It's such an interesting dynamic. So anyway, yeah. So let me know if you guys got any more questions, and we'll be jumping into your questions here momentarily. And if not, we could just go do the training. Shout out to my man Memes from Jesus. He says, is the acceleration course that you previously released getting updated? Absolutely. So again, this is my thought process. Again, I have to publish to, one, show you that I'm using the system. That's why the second channel is for. We've kind of tweaked what we do. Two, if I'm doing these streams, redirecting people to the trainings, which is what I'm about to do, meaning this stream is going to end. It's going to redirect to another stream on this channel, and the moment this stream is done, it will have it will be taken offline. And that is going to be the modules we're going to be updating. So it's like, if you're here, you're one of the early ones, you're literally going to get to consume all the new modules for free, right? You don't get the whole course for free, but you get all the new modules for free if you just watch, right? And take notes. But then we'll take in those modules and we're putting them in the new class. So like 17 people here. I'm guessing maybe 10 of you guys are going to show up to the redirection stream. It's fine. But those 10 will get to see modules in the course for free. And then it keeps me consistently publishing to get the modules updated and get the course more popping. Because if I'm sitting down once or twice a week, right? You see what I'm saying? And then it's a promotion for the course, because somebody might watch it live and be like, oh, I missed it, or let me go check out the course. And we price the course way reasonably, that we're not, we're not going to make $10 million selling courses. That's not the objective. But we do sell the course because, one, it helps us cover our expenses and our costs, and then two, it gets some skin in the game, so people take the investment seriously and are hopefully more likely to apply it. I found that the people who the people that spend the least, the people that I give a lot of value away for free, the people that I coach offline, do the least implementation of the information. You know what I mean? And so then it's like I'm pouring into people and they're just like, oh yeah, this is cool. And then they don't do anything I ask them to do. So anyway, that's the thought process behind there. Will this help with Bible study and preaching? I don't know what are you talking about? The course? Yeah, I mean, I think the course will help you become a better YouTube live streamer. And if you're doing Bible study and preaching, it will help you live stream that better. Bible study and preaching, that's another stratosphere in terms of how to prepare Bible study and how to communicate. That's a different machine, but the principles for the preaching side, I think, can transfer over. There needs to be a collection of all your cringy thumbnails. Hey, we about to get into it. We about to get into it. I usually pre-record as I find that suits my content as I get to plan it. Any ideas for a dental page going live as to what content could work for a wider audience that may turn up live? It's an interesting question. So I think, one, if you're a dental page, Q&As, man, live Q&As, right? Lean into that. Two, I think the when there's new technology that's breaking, when there's things that's relevant, that's trending to your specific niche, things that may overlap with your niche that you're interested in. So I would say those types of things. So like right now, something that's trending is like in-home braces, right? It's not Invisalign. Who's the company? Smile Direct Club. And then I actually went through the whole process and got like the molds made, and I just wasn't impressed with what they sent me. I mean, my teeth aren't too misaligned. I just feel like my center needs to move over or this way. And so I did the whole process, sent the molds back, the whole bit, and then like they sent me this little 3D render. I'm like, that doesn't even look that dope. So I think you can lean into that. It's not, that's more or what is it, orthodontist and less dental. So I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just processing stuff with you out loud that as ideas that you can lean into the live. Are you speaking to people who need better dental hygiene? That sort of content. I mean, you could just do that until you're blue in the face. Like, hey, should you brush twice a day or floss twice a day? Like, here's how you floss. Like, I think there's so many different things you can do with that regard. Yeah. So, I think ultimately the ability to lean into a live format, even if you're not going live, having everything preset and at the push of a button, being able to make your videos faster, in my opinion, anyone that's semi-serious about content creation should be doing that, because you already have the space. All you got to do is mount a couple cameras and adjust the lighting. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how I think about it. I have the lady who cuts my hair. I'm like, yo, this is a dope location. She has this super dope fake grass on her wall and these like little kind of like Christmassy looking lights. Mount some cameras and like have the ability to record even if you're not going live, right? So just because we're not going live, that doesn't mean we're not utilizing the same ability to have a camera mounted, have the lighting permanently done, right? So hopefully that's making sense. What would make the wider public hooked? I find it harder to make intriguing people for people that aren't already dental. So one, I don't know because your niche is very specific and I'm not in that niche. Two, I think you have to go do some best practices and see, is there potential? Like, is there dental YouTubers with 100,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers? Is there stuff there that like whatever your metric of success is someone there doing that, right? Is someone there doing what your metric of success is? If there is, then that just shows you the ground is fertile. If it's not, then that means that maybe you're a blue ocean guy and you're going in first into a niche that maybe will be popping 5 years from now, but you're one of the first to the marketplace. You see what I'm saying? Like Mike Winger, Alan Parr laid the groundwork for me and John McCrae to do Christian YouTube because they were earlier on the platforms. These brothers were uploading regularly in 2015, 2016. We showed up years later, and so we were able to grow standing on their shoulders, and they're a little further ahead. They have more subscribers, so on and so forth. But they were earlier to the platforms to the Christian niche of YouTube, and they were rewarded with that, right? So I don't know enough about that dental niche and where you are. Are you an early adapter, right? Are you, right? But in terms of dental hygiene, I think something that's underutilized, and you maybe you feel this is questionable. This is gonna sound weird, okay? So just buckle up. Is fear. Like fear that that gum disease can be connected to heart issues. Fear that you can subtract years from your life because you're not taking care of your teeth. Fear that you avoiding something simple, a simple utility like flossing twice a day and brushing twice a day can actually make your breath smell better, can actually not cause the long-term damage from cavities and further needing root canals, so on and so forth. That like there's a specific, in my opinion, fear layer to dental care that I don't think we show the negative reinforcement of. Like, bro, if you're not taking care of your mouth, it opens you up to so many issues. So I think there's that. Like, I think you could really lean into, like, you know, I don't know, do this if you want to live longer. If you do this, you will die, right? Like, I think there's some stuff there with that regard that can be interesting. And then people can kind of come back if they like your personality to just be reminded to do those things, right? To be reminded to, hey, I don't want to get cavities and I'm going to listen to this brother because he's going to remind me to floss twice a day, right? You see what I'm saying? And so that's just an idea. And I think there's a macro parallel with dental hygiene and life success in general, right? Like if you're flossing, you're doing things on the daily that are going to set you up to avoid issues and to make you look better and feel better rather quickly. Right, and I think, you know, fitness is similar. You're getting to things that are simple disciplines that implementing will compound over time to create better habits, better hygiene, and less gum disease, and less cavities, and less not just bad stuff. So those are just, I'm just freestyling with you. Those are some just ideas in terms of you know, what you could do. Says fear is a big one I haven't seen covered effectively. Yeah, and there's a real fear, fam. I mean, hey, as someone that grew up in Soviet Russia, we have the worst dental hygiene, fam. Someone that grew up in Soviet Russia, oh my gosh, man. Let me tell you, we have the worst dental hygiene, and seeing it firsthand of having just a mouth full of just by the time I was 21, and then having multiple bridges and having multiple crowns now. I just got two new crown. What side is it? This side. I got two new crowns here. And so like practically for me, I wish there was somebody that was telling me that, because if you're not coming from a culture that cares about this stuff, fam, that's very problematic, you know? So I got a bridge on this side. I got three crowns on this side, and they were silver crowns for the longest. So I was walking around. If you go back and look at my videos from a year ago, I had silver in my mouth, right? And finally, it looks like, so you can prevent people, teenagers, college students, from having serious issues with their mouth that's gonna cause actual pain. And this joint's cost me $2,400. $2,400 for 3 crowns on this side. This bridge cost me $1,500. All of that could have been prevented had I stumbled across somebody that was giving me game on, you know, on this information and getting to me from a positive and negative reinforcement. Those are some ideas. I'm just being honest with you. And my son, we make sure that he takes really good care of his teeth, no cavities, you know, limit the candy. He's not really a candy guy. So is this helping? Is this helping? Hopefully this is helping. But yeah, I think it's a cool niche for sure. All right, who's ready to jump into our masterclass thumbnail tutorial? I might do 2 tutorials today. We'll see how it goes. I might jump into 2 tutorials today. So we're gonna see. So if you guys want to do that, drop a 1 in the chat right now. Drop a 1 in the chat, and we are going to. This is going to redirect. It's also pinned up. In Houston, I see a lot of children with more than 5 teeth of cavities looking like Paul Wall. Jeez, yo, the kids with the silver, fam. I hope they figure it out. That's one of the most like, you just like call CPS on the parents. I'm joking, don't call CPS on the parents, but like, you know? I don't know. I don't mean to be judgmental, but Ugh. All right, we're gonna do it then. We're gonna redirect. Let me do my outros. And then we'll wrap it up. All right. So let's do it. And I do all my outros live, by the way. And here's a in real time outro for you guys. All right, check it out. Again, the link to the description for our free niche training is below. And if you want to hear more about my journey and how I went from having a failing YouTube channel to making over $10,000 a month from AdSense alone, check out